Hello, and welcome to another season of Talking with the Principal. I'm Ron Stromensky, principal of Wakefield Memorial High School, and it's a pleasure to be with you once again this year to share with you some of the exciting experiences and plans that are happening at your high school. At the end of the show, we'll be presenting an address whereby you will be able to send in your questions and concerns and comments to share with me, so that I might answer your questions right here on these cable casts. I want to use this show today to talk with you about our plans, system-wide, but more particularly here at Wakefield High School, and also to share some important dates with you, particularly if you have a student in Wakefield High School for the first time. As you may have read in the local press, the Wakefield School Committee this year is concerned about bringing the public back into public education. Certainly an admirable goal. And since we talk about public education, what could be more salient than the idea of having the public become active or more active in what it is that we do? During the course of this year, the school committee has determined to focus their attention for 2 months each on each of the 3 levels. In short, the Wakefield School Committee will be meeting to delve into and examine the mission of our elementary schools in October and November of this year. If you have a student at the elementary level, or if you just have an interest in the Wakefield Public Schools, the Wakefield School Committee, of course, invites you to become active in those discussions. In December and January, the committee will be meeting at the middle school to examine the mission and philosophy of the Wakefield Galvin Middle School, which of course brings us to a focus on Wakefield Memorial High School. In February and March of this year, we will be meeting on several occasions here at the high school with the school committee and with the Wakefield High School School Council, members of the high school administration, and the public to talk about the mission of Wakefield High School. What is it that you, the public, expect of your local high school? What are the concerns that you want to share with us? What is the essence of what educational reform calls our school improvement plan? Where should we be focusing our attention? And so forth. There are many questions that need to be answered. There are many things of a positive nature that are already going on. But once again, I, as principal of the high school, together with the Wakefield School Committee, welcome your active participation in the direction that this high school will be taking in the future. So we look forward to communicating with you in February and March to be able to share with you publicly how monies are spent in the high school, what the mission is, what the current philosophy is, and in fact, as we down the road prepare for the next 10-year evaluation by the New England Association of Secondary Schools and Colleges, which is the accrediting agency for all public and private schools here in the Commonwealth. Every good organization organizes itself around certain goals and objectives. In the world of education, we certainly ought to be showing the way in terms of direction. And I want to take a few moments on this cable cast to share with you the goals of Wakefield High School this year. Areas that perhaps you have expertise in, you'd like to join us in helping to move ahead. And again, I invite you to become an active partner with me and with your children. As you know, under the Educational Reform Bill of 1993, there were many, many changes wrought for education in Massachusetts. One of those that you've heard an awful lot about is the time and learning element. The fact that all high schools in Massachusetts had to reach a minimum level of direct instruction. For Wakefield High School and all other high schools, that direct instructional time is 990 hours. Prior to ed reform, high schools in Massachusetts did not offer 990 hours of direct instruction. The state said, from now on, ladies and gentlemen, homerooms will not count, passing time will not count, lunch time will not count, and traditional study halls as we knew them would not count in the 990 hours. And so it was that Wakefield High School and every other high school in the Commonwealth set about to examine exactly how it delivered its education. We were fortunate 2 years ago to be the recipient at Wakefield High School of a $40,000 restructuring grant, monies made available under the Educational Reform Act of 1993. That money was to be divided up over the course of 5 years and to be used to study the restructuring of Wakefield High School. That has been done, and the schedule that I sent to each and every parent and guardian in the town of Wakefield reflects the results of the 2-year study that we did in terms of meeting time and learning, but more importantly, delivering a quality education within the time that we had to render. And so it is that the major goal at Wakefield High School for the administration and the faculty, staff, and everyone involved is to look at that restructuring as we now put it into effect, to implement what we call the new modified block schedule. If you have children at Wakefield High School, you know that we now have a 5-period day as opposed to the traditional 7-period day that had existed for many, many years, both here and elsewhere. Instructional times have been extended. Homeroom was eliminated a year and a half ago, and traditional study halls as we knew them have been replaced by what we call the Academic Support Center format. And so we implement this year and evaluate the work that we've done. Going from a 47-minute teaching period to a 74-minute teaching period at Wakefield High School required, in fact, some in-service and some retraining, even for our faculty, who had been used to teaching in a 47-minute block and really needed some assistance in organizing a 74-minute presentation. The restructuring monies and the professional development monies afforded by the citizens and the school committee of Wakefield have enabled us over the past couple of years to help retrain teachers who had a need to retool for the 74-minute block. At Wakefield High School, we have an organization called the Interdisciplinary Team, made up of the team leaders or department heads and voluntary teachers who meet twice a month as a steering committee and an oversight committee to evaluate the work on this modified block schedule and the implementation of the support centers. In addition, 15 new courses have been offered to students at Wakefield High School this year. This year we have asked students to take 6 major subjects plus their health or phys ed as opposed to 5 in the past. And in order to make that a more edifying experience, additional, mainly semester courses were added to our curriculum this year, successfully subscribed to by the students of the high school. Another new area that we are looking at this year is what we call inclusion at the 9th grade level. For those students who have diagnosed special needs, research tells us that those students are going to perform much better when they are included with regular students in our population. The inclusion model began a few years ago in Wakefield and has now reached Wakefield High School. And several of our diagnosed special needs students are now included in our regular courses. We'll be looking very carefully at that also this year. Another major part of the educational reform bill was the design of curriculum frameworks, which in turn would say to every school in the Commonwealth, these are the things that students need to know and be able to do. Obviously, that sounds like something that should have been in place a long time ago. But local school systems for many, many years made those determinations, and now the state is making those determinations. Yes, those frameworks were developed with input from professionals, from business and industrial leaders, and a cross-section of people in the Commonwealth who said, together, what is it that we want our young people to know? Not only is it important to put those down on paper, but how are we going to know that students have accomplished those things? Well, the frameworks are on paper. Every one of our disciplines in the high school now have guidelines, as all other high schools do, and they are the same, minimum things that we must study and require students to know. Beyond that, the Educational Reform Bill said, now that we're going to tell you what the minimums are, We're also going to begin a program of testing those minimums. We want to know how well schools are doing those frameworks, how well students are accomplishing the goals that the state has set before us. And so this year, on 3 occasions, we will begin to ready ourselves for high-stakes testing. By the year 2001, students will have to pass one of these tests in order to receive a high school diploma. Those tests are going to be given at the grade 10 level, with opportunities to again take them in grade 11 and grade 12. If a student should fail to pass on a 3rd time, they would not receive a high school diploma. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts means business with the frameworks. One of the other areas that you've read a good deal about in the past year, and as I appeared before the Wakefield School Committee, was a great concern for the number of students who failed to complete Wakefield High School. There was a major concern, not last year, but the year before, about the number. On several occasions, as I said, I appeared before the Wakefield School Committee to present projections, reasons, rationale, etc. As we prepare our October 1st report for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is still being deliberated upon, it becomes apparent that last year's dropout rate from Wakefield High School will be the lowest it has been in the past 10 years. I'm pleased and proud to be able to share that with you. And yet, as one school committee member said, and I surely agree, every Wakefield High School student is important. We need to take strides to assure that every student receives a quality education and has the opportunity to leave Wakefield High School with a Wakefield High School diploma. And so it is during this year we will be reviewing what we are doing at Wakefield High School to make that a reality. Another area of the Wakefield High School School Improvement Plan is the development of a community service program. And this is an area that, as a member of the public, whether you are a parent or not, I would hope that you would want to get involved in. As principal, I support the concept of students becoming involved in some kind of community service. It remains to be seen whether or not Wakefield, the school committee, and you will support the idea of community service being a graduation requirement. Should students in Wakefield have to perform a certain number of hours of community service in order to qualify for a high school diploma? This is one of the areas, one of the goals that I have set down for us to investigate. And once again, we have applied for and received a small grant under the Educational Reform Act to take a hard look at how a community service program such as this might be delivered, whether it's going to be a graduation requirement or not. It is my feeling that that kind of community service can best be done through our existing course structure, but our faculty, our school council, will look at that together. Finally, last year, again, if you paid attention, you noted that some members of our senior class were concerned about the ranking system at Wakefield High School. They went before the school committee and presented some excellent research. I intend to follow up on that research, put a committee together this year, and to come back with a recommendation as to whether or not that ranking system should be changed in the future or whether it is adequate, reliable, and feasible to continue. Finally, let me share with you some upcoming dates, one in particular that I want you to pay heed to as a parent or guardian of a student at Wakefield High School. Deficiency notices are going to be mailed to you and should be in your hands by October 7th. And our first Parents' Night will be held on Thursday, October 9th, 7 to 9 p.m. And I would ask you, if your last name is L through Z, to be with us from 7 to 8. If your last name is A through K, to join us from 8 to 9. Also, our parent-teacher organization will hold its first meeting on Thursday, October 16th. And we invite you again via our parent-student-teacher organization to become an active part of Wakefield Memorial High School. If you are the parent of a freshman in the high school and you're wondering about class elections for class officers, That is going to take place also during October, and nomination papers will be available Thursday, October 2nd. They will be due back on October 9th, Thursday, October 9th, and we will be holding the grade 9 class officer elections here at the high school on Thursday, October 16th. So there are some dates that you may want to make note of. Also, one other area, if you are not a parent and you're listening to me today, and you'd like to really get involved in some decision-making and some recommendations to the principal of Wakefield High School, I am seeking a community representative to our school council. The obligation is 1 meeting per month, and I would look forward to talking with you as a community rep. That means you do not have a son or daughter in the high school, but you're interested in getting involved. Give me a call at the high school at 246-6440. I've enjoyed being with you for this, our first cable cast of the year, and I look forward to bringing guests to you and more information throughout the entire course of the year. Until next time, Ron Stromensky, have a pleasant day.